Leesburg. Today is, what day is it?
It's May
May
26th.
26th, 2024. We're so glad you joined us here today. Our theme for 2024 is a grand rising. This month, our focus is from good to great to grand. And today's message given by our spiritual director, Charlene Banks, is called The Power of Vision. We're so glad that you joined us today, and feel free, if you're in the Zoom room, to add to the chat any comments or prayer requests that you have to be included later in the service when we provide our community spiritual mind treatment, which is our form of affirmative prayer. We now invite you to get comfortable and relax into this moment as we officially begin our service with this welcoming video.
Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be of service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is.
And now I invite you to get comfortable where you are. So if you join in this Zoom room, know that you are held in this meditation with me, but if you're watching it later, you can also listen to this meditation. And so just sitting wherever you are, sitting comfortably, maybe closing your eyes to focus inward. And we just begin by just noticing the body. Without trying to fix or change anything, feeling into the breath, watching and noticing and feeling the breath move through the body. As it comes in and as it releases. Holding on to a vision that you see of yourself on the in-breath. Maybe it's an affirmation you have for the day. Maybe it's a quality you wish to express more fully in life and your interactions with others or even yourself. So, for example, you could be saying something like compassion in and letting go of anything that you don't need anymore. So maybe it's frustration out. Whatever it is, or you can simply just say, I am in and I am out. And as we notice the breath, we feel it maybe deepening into the body or slowing or changing the pace or the rate. We just bring that breath down through the body, feeling it go through to the legs and the feet and the ankles, imagining it going to the center of the earth. Just noticing if the body, as you go through with your breath, is aware of any tension, not trying to relax, not trying to fix, just noticing. Noticing where the body is being supported. Noticing how the body is feeling. So going into the emotional state of the body. And any thoughts that come, and just imagine them as balloons, kind of with the in-breath, they're generated perhaps. And with the out-breath, you just let that balloon go. Just coming into harmony, more completeness, more stillness, more centeredness, more balance. Just feeling that energy of the body as it's generated from within. That there is a divine energy within each of us that propels the body forward, that sustains all of the life processes, the cells, division and production, regeneration, and even the cell death that occurs is part of this process, and that this process is supported. Just feeling that centeredness come from within to hold the body in these processes of divine energy. And with that stillness, slowly breathing more deeply and coming back. Thank you.
Good morning, CSL Leesburg. Leah here. One of the gifts of the last 2 years have been the many magnificent people and musicians I've gotten a chance to meet and exchange with digitally. And one of them is a gentleman named Micah Hindler. Micah and I don't look alike. We don't sound alike musically, but some would say we tick alike, we resonate, we're definitely cut from similar cloth. And so when he wrote a song in which he had the lyrics, I don't have to look like you, as soon as I heard that, my brain went running off to do the thing that it does musically. And so this is my response to Micah's song. It's called Look Like You. And I think the chorus is pretty sing-alongable. So join me when you feel you can't resist. I don't have to look like you, I just have to look deep. I don't have to see like you to see that you're just like me. You're just another someone in this world. It's just another planet, a sweet blue pearl, floating in the somewhere it's all unknown. In this great mystery we all call home. I don't have to look like you, I just have to look deep. I don't have to see like you to see that you're just like me. I don't have to look like you, I just have to look deep. I don't have to see like you to see that you're just like me. You're just another traveler on this road, learning as we're turning, shaking off the load, growing in the darkness, striving toward the light. Just another lover of a fleeting life. I don't have to look like you, I just have to look deep. I don't have to see like you to see that you're just like me. Sing it with me now. I don't have to look like you, I just have to look deep. I don't have to see like you, I see that you're just like me.
That was great. Yeah. I love it. I don't have to look like you. Yay. Thank you, Leah. So, happy May 26th. It's Memorial Day weekend. And I know a lot of us have scheduled hot dogs and burgers on a grill and maybe frolicking in the grass. But let's not forget that the reason we have Memorial Day, the holiday, is to honor those who gave their life, the ultimate sacrifice in service to the country. And I mean, you could stand in many different positions when it comes to our country. But I'm going to tell you this. This came straight from James Corden. He said, I've watched America change a lot. I've watched divisions grow and a sense of negativity boil over. But remember what America signifies to the rest of the world. It's a place of optimism. Yes, it has its flaws, but show me a place that doesn't. He says, show me a person that doesn't have flaws. Just because somebody disagrees with you, it doesn't make them bad or evil. We are all more the same than we are different. We have to try as best as we can to look for the light and look for the joy. So James Corden exactly sort of echoes what Leah was saying. I don't have to look like you. I just have to look deep. We're more alike than we are unalike. And isn't that so true? We like to make differences between each other so we can put ourselves in a bit of a higher, little rung on some imaginary ladder. But just knowing that we are a country, and for good or for bad, here we are. And if you've done travel overseas, many times you come home grateful for what you saw and grateful for where you've been as well. And so I am grateful today to have this Memorial Day weekend. Not only do I get an extra day to not do what I'm supposed to do, I make that joke, but yeah, I'm always putting something off. It's just nobody's perfect. Gotta love me, man. So now I'm writing a thesis on my final thing to get out of my master's degree. I know I'm graduating from ministerial school. That's happening no matter what. But do I get the master's or not? Well, it depends on when I finish this thesis. And as some of you already know, I'm blending technology with spirituality, trying to understand what is this thing called AI, artificial intelligence, and how it behaves kind of like it's thinking, but is it thinking? Can it gain consciousness? And what is consciousness anyway? The 4 years I've studied, it's consciousness studies, right? 18 courses in consciousness, spirituality, philosophy, and religion, and putting all that together with what I know about technology, and then riffing a little bit, little some insight. So I'll keep you posted on that. But what it involves is me researching a lot of different things. And one of the things I'm researching now is quantum computing. Doesn't it sound awesome? Quantum computing. And everybody likes to put quantum in everything. You notice that there's quantum healing. No shade, Melinda, love your quantum healing. But there's also quantum shifts, quantum leaps. There's the Q method, and there's always a Q somewhere. But when I was studying about actual computers that do not have to do one thing at a time in a linear way, what they're doing is creating a computing instance, and it's already been created. It's just the mechanics of getting this to work. It's just they need really cold temperatures. But so they've made it so that the actual computation is happening at the atomic level where multiple things can be true at once. Multiple things can be true at once. And to remind you of those geeks who are here with me, you love a geek, I love a geek. You remember Schrodinger's cat. It's the old wave of possibilities. This guy Schrodinger, who wanted to explain the possibility wave, talked about a cat being in a box. And with all this stuff happening inside the box, the question was, is the cat dead or is the cat alive? Now, before you open the box, the cat is in a superposition. It's both dead and alive because you haven't checked yet. And when you open the box, you discover, and that's when the wave collapses, and it is either dead or alive. A choice has to be made by all the infinite possibilities. Well, this supercomputer, this quantum computing engine is using the superposition of the atom to test all kinds of simultaneous possibilities. Yeah. Let's say you were doing an experiment trying to figure out if I go down this road, then turn left, then turn right, will I make it out of the maze? At the same time, another process is turning right, then left and figuring out. Simultaneously, this little atom is doing infinite possibilities all at once. And then it's going to do it like this, what would take a linear computer 76 years to complete. It could quickly do things. So, of course, I'm sitting there thinking, and I'm like, but Ernest Holmes kind of talked about this. And so did the people who wrote the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads, Buddhism, Deepak Chopra. They talk about the infinite field of possibilities that exists all around us. They've talked before we even discovered quantum mechanics, where they realized, oh my gosh, the atom isn't the tiniest thing. There's subatomic particles that are in superpositions and they're all at the same time. What? That's what they discovered in like 100 years ago. But thousands of years ago, they were writing about fields of infinite possibility. So it's true that science and spirituality slash religion slash the what do we call that, the ineffable, that science and the ineffable have been pulled apart, but they've never been more collaborative. They've never been more informative for each other than right now. What we're finding is that what we've always known is true. What does that have to do with you? Listen, when we look out upon the world and we see some things, you know as well as I do, depending on how your day is going, what you're looking at is either horrifying or happy. And that thing itself didn't even change. It has nothing to do with it. We bring our consciousness to a situation and we see what we're likely to see based on our makeup, based on who we are today in this moment. And I know moments, moment by moment, Kristen and I were just talking about how this week has gone by so slow, yet the year is flying by. How is that possible? How is it possible that every minute could be kind of a drag and take forever while our lives are speeding by? It's a strange context that we live in. It's a strange context that we live in, that we get to choose what we're looking at and decide what angle we're going to take with us. And just here's another example. All right. Now we know that, I don't know which era to pick. Just know that the human mind has always wanted to go out and explore. From Columbus, is that sailed the ocean blue in 1492? Yeah. So that guy got on a ship and headed west, right? And they didn't know what was going to be there. They just were going to discover the world. Now, what they saw when they got there heavily depended upon what kind of consciousness they brought with them. Isn't that interesting? Because when we go out, let's imagine that you're going to a garden and you're just looking around. So you're going to a garden and you're looking around and you're seeing things. Now, depending on how you feel today, there could be a bee buzzing. It could be hot. Your feet could hurt. Somebody's in the way and the cobblestones hurt because you didn't wear the right shoes. Now, walk up to a fountain in this garden and you see something that catches your eye and it calls forth something deep within. It's a statue. It's a statue of an angelic figure with this look upon her face that's so loving that it harkens back to the time when someone told you unequivocally that you are loved. You are precious. And whenever they saw you, their face lit up. It's that maternal, that loving, that goddess kind of energy that just catches you off guard. You're looking at this fountain and you're looking at that statue and you're looking at that expression. And maybe she's holding a small baby and the baby looks so sweet. You're making that leap, that quantum, I'm using that word on purpose, that quantum leap. And all of a sudden you open your eyes and you look around. This very same park that was getting on your last nerve is amazing. It's majestic. Did you see that flower? Look at the way it hangs. Look at look at the yellow. The yellow is just, everything's different, isn't it? And I don't have to tell you, nothing outside changed. What changed was the voyage inside. We traveled inside and we made contact with something so profoundly beautiful that it shifted our awareness. And now yet another reality that is happening at the same time as the one we were choosing, it now replaces our reality. And now we look upon the world in a better way. So I almost think that every time we seek to explore outside, let's take a second. Let's go inside first. And let's get ourselves together, is what I call it. Let's get ourselves together. Let's ground, like Kristen's meditation today. Let's ground, let's get in our bodies, connect with Mother Earth, remember who we really are, and then show up in the world. And what kind of new things will sparkle on our path? What kind of discoveries are we going to make? We bring this energy of appreciation and love because we choose to. We're choosing to. So I was reading this morning Thomas Troward, and he was talking about looking at evolution as a thing that happens automatically up to a point. After that point, then it has to happen consciously. So I was thinking, well, say a little more about that. And so I read a little more. And I mean, the stuff you read it again, and you're like, wow. So if you imagine the evolution, I'm thinking like apes. Okay, fine. So apes, if you go back and long enough on Darwin's little chart, you'll find that we, the Homo sapiens, and the typical primate, I don't know, pick one, we all have a common ancestor, but something branched off, and then evolution took its way to where we are today and where that other chain still is today. Now, some of that stuff happened automatically just because you were around long enough and evolution, you could study that. But what is it that he's talking about? Troward says conscious evolution has to happen on purpose. What he's talking about, my friends, I feel like, is that we make an intention. We make an intention to grow. We make an intention to be better today than we were yesterday. We evolve ourselves because we choose to. He even went further to say that if we just relax and only read what has ever been written before, we never make it our own and never write our own stuff, then we risk slipping backwards. That to not move forward is to regress into eventual ape again. Like, and yeah, that was kind of harsh, but I was like, well, let's call it what it is. If we notice something about ourselves that is, we're behaving in a way that's not our ideal, have you ever snapped at somebody and said, oops, probably shouldn't have said that? Have you ever just looked at something judgingly like you knew better? Listen, I have a deeper have you ever. Like everybody knows, it's not a secret. I and snakes are not cuddle buddies. If I saw a snake in the past, I would typically run in the opposite direction, screaming for someone to come save me. But the other day I was playing with my dog and we were in the grass, and then I was on the sidewalk, and then I was up the street and I went the other way, right in front of my house. And I turn around and I see coming out of the grass I was just in on my front lawn, there's like a black snake just making its way across the pavement because it was nice and hot and he wanted some of that hotness. And I looked and I said, that's a snake. And I looked at it and I watched. I said, it's so shiny. Look, it's kind of wrinkly because it's going kind of slow. And then it went to the other side of the sidewalk and got into that grass. I said, it's going to the grass. And I'm looking around like, does anyone else see the snake? I look at the dog. The dog's like, don't see anything. I'm like, you don't see the snake? And so then I'm just still looking at it. And then I watch it as it goes down the curb, slithers across the black pavement. Now I'm like worried, looking for cars. Okay, don't hit the snake. And then I watch it get up to the other side. Later, I'm like, hold on. Wait, I think I forgot to be scared. I was just curious. Wow, look at it. I was like, how shiny it was and what it must feel like to rub its belly on the pavement. I forgot to be scared. So now I'm asking myself, what's happening? Of course, my dad said, maybe you're growing up. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like 60 is pretty darn grown. I think that would have happened already. I think I'm getting more curious. You see, I think in the past, when I was looking at those things that I already had so many of my own notions about what everything is, and I would run really fast or stay there. Like I had so many knee-jerk reactions. And now, could it be meditation? Could it be traveling? I don't know what's happening. Listen, ask me again if I see a wolf spider in my house. Do I maintain that same curiosity? There's where the lesson will be. I don't know. And I'm not asking. Thank you very much. But the thing is, are we getting curious about, and is that evolution? Are we getting curious about things that previously used to just give us that knee jerk, I don't like that? Are we now like, it's interesting. And so I'm just kind of asking myself right now, what other ways do I judge and shut down? Am I knee jerky when it comes to other things? Could it be maybe taking another approach? Could it be maybe just noticing a negative approach if somebody comes up to me and says something, or if I'm a target of something I see on the internet all the time? What would I do if that happened to me? I typically ask myself, and I'm like, I wonder if I would get curious for longer. I feel that's where the evolution is, getting curious and then choosing my reaction, not just letting it run me. Because at what point am listen, if I'm just going to be knee jerk all over the place with no conscious awareness, then how am I different from the ape? How? So this is what makes us different, the fact that we can choose in every moment. We can make an intention. We can set a vision, which is the title of today's talk. The power of our vision is going to drive our evolution as individuals and as a group. As a group of people in our spiritual community, how do we see the world? And what's our vision? Now, some people get caught up with vision because vision, it has such a lofty tone, doesn't it? What's your vision? Like you have to make a mission statement and a vision statement just to get up out of the bed and go to the bathroom. No. So I was listening to Reverend Michael, who interviewed this woman who has a whole series of workshops, and she calls it the power of eight. And she said that if 8 people get together, and she said she just likes the number 8. It's not scientifically proven that it's 8 is better than 7 or better than 15. It's just 8 people get in small groups, and every person in the group takes a turn and they put what they want. They set an intention. And she said something about your intentions need to be specific. They need to be something, for example, I really want my left foot not to hurt. And everybody in the circle says, okay, I see you as having a left foot free of pain. And each person in the group holds that intention. That's what she calls it. They just intend for 10 minutes, a focused intention, which seems forever to me, but maybe it would go fast. Everybody gets a turn in this group of 8, and then they meet once every week. And healing is insane. Like, depending on what you intend, when you know you have a group of people intending for you, something happens. And then she also stated in her little interview with Reverend Michael, she said that a lot of the people who intend, even if it wasn't your turn that week, you're holding that idea for somebody else. It also brings amazing things to you. And of course, I thought immediately about what we teach at Religious Science. We teach scientific prayer, spiritual mind treatment, where it's all about holding that intention for someone else or for some situation. And you can't help but bless yourself in the middle of prayer. You're connecting with the divine and you're harmonizing and you're in a vibe with the divine. And when you're saying, I'm seeing healing for so and so, that healing is also happening right here. It's all happening in our own consciousness. So that made perfect sense to me, that a group of intending people just intending for each other would work. And of course, I know it works. We've got little chat groups together, different threads in this community, and we'll just shout out, hey, pray for my whatever, my niece, pray for that. Prayer totally changes us. And it's all about that intention. It's all about that vision, that when we choose what we would like, when we choose, what's happening is those infinite possibilities, all the possibilities of everything it's all around us right now. We're swimming in a soup of, I don't know, what do you think it should be? Let's do that. That's what's happening around us. We get to choose how we experience our lives in each moment. So when we make an intention, what you're doing is taking all those possibilities, collapsing them into this one choice. The cat's alive, gosh darn it. And then that's what we experience. And it's instantaneous. It's not, oh, put it in order, and if you choose overnight shipping, it'll be here tomorrow. No, in this moment, we can experience a huge shift. And so that's what's really cool that's happening right now in this world. We've got, sorry, I think I've got an eyelash that's, all right. We've got a world that is up to us to see. It's up to us to see the thing that we want to experience. We have to have that vision first. Our intention has to precede our experience, or we just kind of get the sum total of everybody's worst ideas. What we're swimming around with right now, if we don't set our intentions, we don't choose what it is we want to see out here, then what we get is the average, the average of everybody's kind of worst self, pretty much. Or at least it's just mediocrity, which is another word for average. And I don't know about you, but when I have visions of my life, it's not, I hope to be average. I hope to be mediocre. No, none of us want that, not for ourselves, not for our loved ones. We want a world that is just bursting with possibility, so joyful that we can't even keep the lid on. And we want our infectious joy to be felt and to vibrate and to raise others and to make a difference that's positive in this world. And I'll close by saying I'm spending a lot of time training for my hospice experience where I get to help people on their final days. And I have a lot of things that I think about that have to do with final days. They just come to me now. And I'm just knowing that on those final days of my life, I'm not going to be looking around wishing that I worked harder or that I'm not, the mundane stuff, I'm not going to even think about. It's, did I make an impact? Did I have an impact? Did I do what I set out to do? Or did I get distracted, discouraged, and let down? Did I do what I set out to do? And so this starts today. I really would love for all of us to just sit and take a moment and just decide who do we want to be? Compare that to who we are when nobody's watching, and then work to make the difference. If there's a big delta between here's what I show people and here's what I really am when no one's watching, well, now that's just a map with what work we have to do today. And we don't shun, we don't eschew anything. We are where we are, and that's okay, because this is the first day we take our first step, and you have to know where you are in order to get to where you're going. Remember, keep the location settings turned on so that your higher self can navigate you to where you want to be. No head in the sand, wide awake, knowing where we are, knowing where we want to be, and then consciously taking each step forward to get there. So I'm just knowing for you that we just, like Mary Oliver said, I don't want to end up simply having visited the world. All right, let's go within. Let me check to see if there are any prayer requests. I don't see any, but then they could be hiding. One moment. All right, nothing in there. Let's just do the generic. I know that there's something happening in Papua New Guinea where there are some people that possibly got buried under a huge landslide. So I'm going to start just knowing that there's only one divine energy throughout and within each and every one of us, that we are all connected on this divine, blue, beautiful planet called Earth. That although we seem like separate entities, we are all connected. We are all vibrating as one with the divine, because there can be no separation from life itself. And so as I know we are one with the divine, there is no separation. I speak my word that right here and right now, all is unfolding in the highest way in Papua New Guinea. That those that are experiencing this tragedy of landslide, that there are those helpers there on hand right now, that these are the hands of God helping as they can. I know that help and support and just care is unfolding right where they are, because there can be no separation. The divine is everywhere present. Anywhere else where there's unease, dis-ease, discouragement, any sense of lack or limitation, that right where we are, there's the possibility that right in that moment, there's the capacity for a shift and for the awareness of something bigger happening right now. That wholeness and healing is simply right there, right present at hand, and it is making itself known in that space. So I just bless all within the sound of my voice, just with love and compassion and hope and joy. I release my word into the law, saying, thank you, life. And so it is. Amen. Ashe. Let's hear from.
I'm actually not sure if I've shared this song with you.
Okay, wait, she's going too fast. Hold on a second. Let me share the screen first. There we go.
I'm actually not sure if I've shared this song with you yet, but it's inspired by a story called The Parable of the Long Spoons, and it's about a mystic's experience of heaven and hell. I will spare you the long version and just sing the song, but if you're not familiar, check out The Parable of the Long Spoons. No one gets to heaven alone, to heaven alone, to heaven alone. No one gets to heaven alone. We get there side by side, side by side, side by side, side by side. We get there side by side. No one does the work on their own, the work on their own, the work on their own. No one does the work on their own. We're working side by side, side by side, side by side, side by side. We're working side by side. No one heals the world on their own, the world on their own, the world on their own. No one heals the world on their own. We're healing side by side, side by side, side by side, side by side. We're healing side by side. No one gets to heaven alone, to heaven alone, to heaven alone. No one gets to heaven alone. We get there side by side, side by side, side by side, side by side. We get there side by side. No one gets to heaven on their own. We get there side by side, side by side, side by side, side by side. We get there side by side. No one, no one, no one, no one, no one, no one. We get there side by side, side by side, side by side, side by side. We get there side by side.
Oh, well, now is the time to bless the donations that are shared today. At CSL Leesburg, we believe in the law of circulation. So we are a tithing community, putting that belief into action. The donations shared with our center bless everyone, those who give and those who receive. Your donation helps our center. It helps our CSL home organization, as well as organizations that support our vision of helping to create a world that works for everyone. We're always looking for suggestions of organizations that we should consider. So you can go to our website and click give for making a suggestion. If you look at our screen, you'll see there are many ways to give. You can find a way that works best for you. You may also go to our website, cslleesburg.org, and click the donate button. We thank you for your support. No matter how you're giving, take that gift, place it over your heart, and join us in our affirmation of oneness. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the lives of everyone I contact, and therefore I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. Announcements. We have a dream study. The next one will be on June 1st. And we hope to see you at that. And also, this is so exciting. Charlene's graduating. Woo! Get ready to call her Rev. We always think of you as a Rev anyways. But this is the official graduation, and you can watch it on YouTube at this link. Also, we'll put that link on CSL Leesburg so you can find it. It's so exciting at 7 p.m. Eastern. She's discovering the gold. She's getting her degree, and yay, just yay. And as we end our sacred time together, let us once again place our hands over our heart and say, and you can unmute your mics, I am love.
I am love.
Now point at someone near you or to our members or guests on the screen and say, you are love. You are love. And now put your hands up in the air for love sprinkles and say, it's all love.
It's all
It's
love.
all love. It's all love.
And if you can stay for a few more minutes, please feel free to join us as we share our pearls of wisdom, those little nuggets that spoke to our hearts as we heard the message. We'd love to have an opportunity to officially greet you. If you're a new visitor, you can stay. And if you leave us, we know that you'll have a day filled with love, joy, blessings, and we thank you for joining us. And happy Memorial Day.